Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, well, I had planned on doing raiding with me. However, at the time of this recording, the raid tournament hasn't started up yet, and I let all of you guys know. I put a post on my community tab on my channel. So what I'm going to be doing, normally I would have been raiding like consistently, but since there's no raid tournament, there's no need to use my refills yet. So, and by the time the raid tournament hits, CRW is going to start. So like, I don't feel like waiting that long. So, because I already have one other video that I gotta upload that, and it doesn't, and this one, it doesn't count this one. It's an entirely separate video. So no, I'm not waiting. So what we're gonna do today, as I'm gonna be going over my spoiler review of The Walking Dead, Daryl, Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 2, Moulin, Rouge. I'm gonna do 6 raids. I might do some road maps. I might do some friendly duels. I'm just gonna give you guys gameplay as I'm going over the spoiler review. So, before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you want to share the video, that would be great too. If you do any of those 4 things, that would be very much appreciated by me. And I'm doing pretty good, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? And what I will say about episode 2, I do think it was an improvement over episode 1, definitely, for sure. But I'm not saying episode 1 was utter trash. No, I've seen worse, but like episode 2 had a little bit more going on, and it's definitely gonna move the season along. So, just like last time, I've broken down this review with certain characters like Daryl, Isabella, Carol, Losang, and Jeanette. And there's another character that gets their own section. So I got a couple of characters that have their own section, which I'm going to talk about. So I don't think we should delay the spoiler review any further. So if you have not seen this episode, or if you're not caught up entirely and you don't want to hear any spoilers whatsoever, I would recommend clicking off the video or muting the video altogether. Or if you are caught up, or if you just don't care about spoilers, great, you can stick around. That'll be great. Now, in 3, 2, 1, here is my spoiler review of The Walking Dead, Daryl, Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 2, Moulin Rouge. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jump around here, but I think we're going to start off with... We'll start off with Daryl, because I feel like Daryl and Carol, as far as like their screen time in their situations, I feel like it's pretty even for the most part. So that is an improvement already. It's not heavily focused on one or the other. So we're going to start with Daryl. This, I didn't note everything down. I just noted some of the important stuff that I felt like was important. So Daryl teaches Laurent how to play baseball. Because, like, at the end of the day, Laurent he should be a normal kid, somewhat normal in the zombie apocalypse, right? But Daryl, he wants to teach him how to kill walkers to survive, because that will ultimately be the difference. Because, like, take a look at Sophia, Carol's daughter from season 2. When she got scared at the beginning of season 2 from all the walkers, and she ran off, and, well, Rick found her and told her to hide, and, well, we never saw her alive again. So, but anyway, Daryl is being like this lovingly uncle type, and he's teaching Laurent how to play baseball, which I thought was kind of cool, was kind of sweet, because he's trying to make him a normal child, right? Which there ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, he's like really smart and all of that, but deep down, Laurent, he just wants to be a normal kid, just like any of the other kids, and he even says it himself more than once. So, and Laurent, he keeps trying to, as Daryl's swinging the baseball, throwing the ball at Laurent, he's trying to swing the bat. He does hit a home run, which, hey, I mean, that's good. And, Daryl and Isabel, a little bit later, they have a conversation. Like, she says to Daryl that, like, look, some of the stuff that they're teaching him, that, even Laurent, he even thinks it's a bit of a stretch. So, even though it was a miracle that he survived childbirth, and the people at the nest thinks that he's a messiah, that he can save them all, and that gets a little bit more clearer in this episode. So Daryl teaches Laurent how to play baseball, right? Which I thought that was, hey, he just wants to have him do normal kid things. I mean, nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, it's a lot better than putting all that pressure on a child, having that child think that, oh, you're the Messiah, you're going to be able to save humanity. Nah, Daryl's like, fuck that. I don't even believe that for a second. Like, you're just a normal kid who got really lucky. I mean, and that's all that's to it. I mean, honestly. Now, we're gonna, let me put a check mark on this, that way I know not to come back to it. Okay. Alright, now we're gonna skip, where are we gonna skip to? We are gonna skip around a little bit, like I said. I'm gonna skip to Lo Sang, because he has two things, which the second thing we will get to much later on in the review. So, Lo Sang, he continues to believe that Daryl is a massive distraction toward Laurent, and that's going to be important. So that might seem random, but that's going to be important. So, because Lo Sang and all the other people of the nest believe that Laurent is the Messiah. He can save them from the zombie apocalypse or whatever, all that nonsense. So that's his concern, Lo Sang's concern. So, and there's a conversation with this other girl, or other woman, I should say, and I know Lo Sang said her name, and it starts with a J, and I'm gonna feel kind of embarrassed about it, but I just named her J Girl. So anyway, Lo Sang and J Girl, if you've seen the episode, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, J Girl is insisting on moving up the ceremony of Laurent, and you're like thinking, what the hell is that? Again, we get a more clearer picture of what exactly the ceremony is. Well, it'll lead into episode 3. based off what's okay, so J-Girl, she's insisted on moving up the ceremony of Laurent because she believes it'll show a strong symbol or whatever, right? So, great. So now, let's get into some of these road maps. Can I not do... You know what? Why not? I mean, I can't get anything from it, but it's to give you guys gameplay. I guess we'll... Okay, so... I didn't write him down, but Emil, that is the guy that has romantic feelings for Sylvie, which, you know, they rescued him and Falu and like a couple other people, right, from the first episode. And, you know, Sylvie, she's glad to see Emil, and, you know, she hugs him, and he pretty much says that I made a deal with God. Like, that sounds random, but... And she said that I prayed to God too, but what she was praying about to him wasn't necessarily the same thing you were praying about, my guy. As we'll find out in a little bit. So, it's the next morning, and Isabella, she goes to knock on Laurent's door, and she's like calling out for him, and he's not answering, so she opens the door. Well, Isabella finds that Laurent is missing, and he's been kidnapped. Yeah, so, Lo Sang, you have some rats, you have some traitors in your, in the nest, which we will find out what exactly happened. So, the window's open, and, yeah, Laurent is gone, he's kidnapped, so that's when Daryl, excuse me, I'm putting check marks on these topics, that way I don't accidentally come back to them. I'm sorry. So after Laurent is discovered missing and has been kidnapped, Lo Sang and J-Girl, they claim to have seen two of their men carry off with Laurent. And one of them apparently has a face tattoo, supposedly. So keep that in mind, right? So, Daryl is leading a rescue mission to find Laurent and bring him back. Because, I mean, you know, that's something that Daryl is going to do. Go out of his way to rescue him. Because him and Laurent, they grew a connection. At first, he thought that Laurent is just a smarty pants that, look, I'm just going to get you to the nest and I'm gone. But he actually gets to the nest and, well, he stays, obviously. But anyway, Daryl leads a rescue mission to find Laurent, and some of the people from the nest, Emil, Falu, and Isabel, go with Daryl to go try to find Laurent. And that's going to be important. That's going to be important a little bit later, because I'll talk about it when we get there. So I think it's time to talk about Carol, because we haven't gotten to her just yet. She's got 30 parts. So I figure we get to her first part now. So Carol and Ash are flying over Greenland, and that's where they break down. They break down in Greenland, and it appears to be a fuel line. So that's when, you know, Carol's like, you take a look at your plane, you know, I'll keep watch from any walkers. Well, there's these two walkers that come up from the ground that have been buried in the ground where they break down, and they overwhelm her, but Ash hears her after like 5 minutes. Now, it's not really 5 minutes, but while he's focused on working on his plane, he saves her, and then there's another little group of walkers that come, but they end up getting shot. And off to the distance is these two ladies that save them, and they're just waving and grinning like, oh, welcome to Greenland, you know. And they seem totally nice at first, but this is where the stranger danger should definitely kick in. Because the two women, I forgot the first girl's name, but the one girl and this other girl named Hannah, they bring Carol and Ash back to their place, and well, they tell them that our plane broke down, that we're trying to get to France to find Carol's daughter, Sophia, which, Ash still is led to believe that she's going to France to look for her daughter. No, that's half a truth. She wants to go to France, but not to find her daughter. Obviously, it's to find Daryl. That's the ultimate reason. That sucks for Ash that he had to pick up everything based off half a lie. I feel like that's going to end up blowing up in her face. I see that happening now. So, the other girl goes with Ash back to his plane while Carol stays with Hannah back at their place, and she's got they got something cooking in a pot, and they call it reindeer, and it didn't look very appetizing. I don't know what it was, but anyway, at first, Carol is offered a drink, and she says, no, maybe I'll take you on your offer later, but, they offer Ash, they tell him that, look, maybe we have the stuff to help you fix up your plane, so Ash and the other girl go do that, while Hannah and Carol are back at their place. And she's like, you know what, I'll take you up on your drink. And they're getting a little drunk. And that's when Hannah sees the crossbow, Daryl's crossbow. And she asks her, can I see it? And she's like, not if you're careful. So Hannah, she's putting one of the bolts into the crossbow. And after she gets that, she starts aiming the crossbow at Carol, and Carol's she's like, my parents taught me not to aim weapons at anybody. And that's when Hannah reveals that her and the other girl, that's when Hannah reveals that she's like, I gotta kill you now because I won the coin toss. So you're telling me that those two literally flipped a coin to see who was going to kill Carol. Oh my god. But anyway, Hannah is supposed to be tasked with killing Carol. And then we cut back to Ash and the other girl who make it to the plane. And the other girl, she starts getting kind of weird, and, she's talking about how, she's asking Ash, do you have any kids and all that, and he says, yeah, I had one son, and she asks him, would you ever think about having kids again? And he's like, no. And the girl says that, people say that, but if people didn't have children, it would be like we would disappear. And then, get ready for this one, y'all. This is when the woman that's with Ash suggests that, look, you know, Hannah, she's going to kill Carol, and I want you to get me pregnant. Like, literally, that's like... and he's like, wait, what? I don't even know you, and you want me to get you pregnant? Are you serious? Like, he's like, look, sorry, you're gonna have to find somebody else. And that's when she points her rifle at him, and she ends up handcuffing him to the plane. And when she gets back, you know, she still hasn't tried to kill Carol. And that's when the other woman comes back and says that, look, I took care of my part, now it's time for you to take care of your part. You know, you better kill her or I'm gonna have to do it myself. And then that's when Hannah, you know, Carol, before Hannah's talking to her, do you have to listen to her? You can make your own choice, you know, you can make your own choice. I'm giving you the option to save your life, right? And, you know, that's before the girl comes back, the other girl, and she's like, you know, telling Hannah, like, look, if you're not gonna do it, I'll just do it. And then that's when Hannah aims the crossbow at the other girl and shoots her right between the eyes with the crossbow. Like, I was like, what the hell? What the hell kind of shit is this? But that's when Hannah asks Carol that, you know, can I come with the both of you? And Carol's like, yeah, sure, you know. And they go back to the plane. And, you know, that's when we find out that Ash is nowhere to be found, right? But that's when we find out that he was handcuffed to the plane, because when they get closer to the plane, that's when they get closer to the plane, Carol and Hannah gets shot in the throat with a flare gun by Ash. And I think Carol knew not to trust her, especially after she pointed the crossbow at her, but she wanted to buy herself a little time. And in that moment, you know, Ash says that, look, I had to do that because she was going to kill you. And Carol's like, yeah, I know you did, you know, you did the right thing there. So after an unexpected event with Hannah and the other girl, Carol and Ash make their way to France. And we'll pick back up with them in a minute, or in a little bit. So let me see, where do I want to go next? Okay, so let's kind of go back to Daryl. So Daryl, Isabella, Falou, Emil, and a couple of other people from the nest, they find this building where supposedly they think they have found Laurent, right? And they go into this building, and then next thing you know, Daryl and all of them are, you know, Daryl is like on the second floor, I believe it is, and, well, when nobody's making any noises or anything, and when there's no signs of Laurent, that's when it's revealed that Emil and the other people of the nest, minus Falou and Isabella, they're trying to kill Daryl, right? And here's the thing about that. Isabella and Falou, they weren't supposed to be on that rescue mission. That wasn't necessarily the plan. But Falou and Isabella, they wanted to come. That wasn't a part of the plan. So after Daryl takes care of a couple of them, and then one of them that's with Falou tries to kill Falou, well, Falou ends up getting the better of the one guy, but here comes Emil, who, you know, Falou's like shouting out to him, like, look, hell, get the motherfucker, get him, like, what are you doing, And then that's when, after Falou kills the one guy trying to stop him, that's when it's revealed that, he's a part of this, that him and those other guys, they were led, they were supposed to lead Daryl on a kidnapping of Laurent, because they were... Okay, so, yeah, Emil, that's when it's revealed that, like, that Lo Sang was worried that Daryl was going to get in the way of their ceremony, so they were hired, they were sent off to kill Daryl, because Lo Sang felt that it was going to interfere with the ceremony, with Daryl being around. He felt like that Laurent might want to leave, right? So, okay. So let's go back to Lo Sang, so this makes a little bit more sense, right? So, Sylvie, she's at the nest, and she's in a part of the, like, dining room, and there's this nun that is preparing a tray of food, but here's the weird thing about it. Laurent, he's supposed to be kidnapped, and he's not supposed to be there, supposedly, but the type of food that the nun is preparing is something that Laurent ate earlier in the episode, and it gets Sylvie's attention, so she decides to hide and follow the nun to see where she's going to go with that tray of food. And when she finds this secluded part of the nest, she goes all the way down, and that's where Laurent is. He's just hiding in the fucking nest the whole time. And that's when it turns out that Lo Sang arranged the fake kidnapping of Laurent. Yes, so, I wanted to give Lo Sang the benefit of a doubt that he was just, like, really delusional, but it seemed like he was an okay guy, but, like, you're gonna really arrange a fake kidnapping of somebody, especially a kid? Nah, that's fucked up. That really is fucked up. I must say that. All because he was worried that Daryl was a distraction to Laurent, and that he was worried that Laurent would might want to leave with Daryl. So, that's his whole thing. But there's a little bit more to it. So, we go back to Emil, and we do get from Emil's mouth that Lo Sang was worried about Daryl, messing up the ceremony, so they were believed by Lo Sang to, they were believed that Lo Sang wanted them to kill Daryl, that Isabella and Falou were supposed to stay behind. So, but there's a little bit more to it. So, after a tussle, they try to convince Emil to, like, not do this, and, like, do you really think this is salvation? And after a tussle, Falou, he jumps Emil and makes him drop the gun that he had pointed at him, and the gun slides out of reach of Emil, and Isabel, she picks up the gun and shoots him right in the head, like, yeah. So, yeah, Isabella kills Emil. So now, let me see here. Let me go back. Okay, I don't want to talk about that arranged kidnapping. We just talked about it. We're going to talk about J-Girl for the last time, because here's where the confusion gets cleared up. Even though Lo Sang arranged the fake kidnapping of Laurent, J-Girl instructed Emile and the others that went with Daryl to kill Daryl. And like, J-Girl lied and said that that's what Lo Sang wanted, to have Daryl killed, even though that wasn't, like, I don't know what he wanted them to do besides kill Daryl. I'm not really sure, but like, the J-Girl wanted, lied on Lo Sang's part and said that, yeah, Lo Sang says that, yeah, I want y'all to kill Daryl. So, and it's also revealed by Emile that the ceremony is, what they're going to do is they're going to have a walker bite Laurent to show everybody that he can't be infected, supposedly. So, yeah, that's the ceremony that's going to lead into episode 3. Now, let's see. Okay, we have one last thing with Daryl. And this involves Isabella, too. Daryl and Isabella have their first kiss. So, Isabella, Daryl, and Falou, they make it just outside of the nest, and there's going to be a wave coming in, so they're going to have to wait conveniently until episode 3 to get back to the nest, even though they're, like, right outside it. So, Daryl and Isabella have their first kiss, and, okay, I think they just signed, hang on. This is, that kiss is potential bad news. Not for Daryl. Well, like, here's the thing about romance. Romance in The Walking Dead hardly ever works out. Except for Rick and Michonne. That's the only exception, but everybody else, eventually, one set of the partners, or both set of the partners, have gotten killed. Eventually. I don't know. That ain't looking good. Not for Daryl. Not for Daryl. No way AMC kills off their cash cow. Like, let's think about it. In popularity, right now, Rick Grimes, I would say, is probably number 1 in popularity, but who's number 2 right behind him? A very close second. That would be Daryl Dixon. No way they're killing off their second most popular character of Walking Dead. No. If they were going to do that, they would have done that back in season 7 during Negan's lineup. If they didn't do it there, I was like, they're not gonna do it. They're not. That means there is a very strong possibility that Isabella might end up biting the bullet. It could happen. I don't know. I really don't know. But usually 2 things are certain in Walking Dead. Romance hardly ever works out, and doctors don't hardly ever last in Walking Dead. So, yeah, I don't know. It ain't looking good for Isabella. I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I do like her character, but I don't know. They're not, if they're gonna kill one of the 2 off, it ain't gonna be Daryl. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Because they're not gonna kill off the character of a spinoff named after them. That would be you would be asking for anarchy at that point. That would be stupid. That would be like kind of what you did with Halloween Ends. Yes, I'm a defender of Halloween Ends, but they did fuck that up. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, no, AMC is not gonna be that dumb to kill Daryl off. I just don't buy it. So, yeah, that kiss might have just signed Isabella's death warrant right there. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be somebody from the Nest or one of Jeanette's people or a walker. I don't know, but I don't know. Isabella's days are probably numbered on the show, and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So let me see. Okay, so we'll talk about Carol. So Carol and Ash get to France, and, you know, they land, and Carol's like, you know, I don't want you to come with me, Ash, all because, you know, somebody needs to stay with the plane, plus I'll feel like I'm responsible for you, you know, if anything was to happen to you, I would feel responsible for that. She doesn't want Ash to go because she's not looking for Sophia, obviously. She's looking for Daryl, bro, and she doesn't want him to find out, but he's gonna find out. I feel like he's gonna end up finding out. So, we'll see. So she ends up going her way and going through France, and he stays with the plane, even though he didn't want to. He does anyway. So she ends up walking the streets, and there's a truck that's coming her way, so she hides, and it's one of Jeanette's patrols, and she ends up noticing that there's bags of like food in the truck. And of course, Jeanette's people end up harassing this homeless guy, I'm presuming, which is kind of like, come on. It's the apocalypse, and like, it's already rough enough. Like, but anyway, that gives her the opportunity to grab an apple from one of the bags, and she cuts a hole in one of the bags of food, and it's just like grain or something like that. That way she can follow the path of where the truck is going. And the truck ends up going to this little town square or like a marketplace, and there's this like checkpoint set up, and and Carol's just like acting like she's been there. She's just trying to get a feel of the place. You know, she's never been to France. And she goes to the checkpoint, and she hands over her sniper rifle, playing nice, so she can get like I'm assuming a ration card. That way they are going, Jeanette's people are going to give the people of France food and stuff like that. So she ends up joining in, and well, she kind of joins in. She gets past the checkpoint, all that stuff, but she ends up hanging back to see what's what. And like Jeanette's right-hand woman, she like says that, Jeanette wants to start over with a new France and bring order by giving people, warm food and small pleasures and all that stuff. So the people just go crazy, try to get as much food as they can, but there's two trucks. You have one truck, one truck I'm assuming is just for the wussies, and you got one truck for the people that have balls. And, well, Carol tries to get in one of the trucks first, but she's stopped by one of Jeanette's men, and she ends up just attacking him, and, but she doesn't, she isn't able to do much as she is surrounded by all the other guards, and that's when Jeanette's right-hand woman says that, okay, this one's got guts, you know, this one's got balls, so, like, get her in this truck, and the wussies can go in the other truck. I know that's kind of, like, that's probably not the intention of what I'm going for, but, like, you have the people that that are just not gonna stand up for themselves, go in one truck, then you got people like Carol that end up standing up for themselves. They got guts. They're going to go in one truck, and all of these people end up going back to Jeanette's compound. So Carol ends up captured. She ends up getting captured by Jeanette's people. So now this is a very interesting parallel where you have Carol, who's going to be with Jeanette and her people, not really knowing yet what her people are all about at the very moment. And then you have Daryl, who is on the other side, who's going back to the nest to confront Losang and the people of the nest. And I feel like I'm going to make a prediction now. I feel like Daryl and Carol are going to reunite by episode 4. It could be episode 3. I don't know. I'm going to say, to be on the safe side, I'm going to say episode 4. That's when they'll finally reunite, right? That would be kind of a wasted opportunity if they don't reunite in the season. It seems like it's not going to be episode 3 necessarily. I'm going to say episode 4 before they reunite. So Daryl is back at the nest. Well, almost back at the nest. And Carol is captured by Jeanette's people. Then, yeah, Jeanette has her own little section. This is where the episode is about to end. So Jeanette's right-hand woman, she ends up going to this jail cell, and you hear somebody just a screaming, being tortured and stuff, and, well, we'll find out who that is in a minute. So, the guards that are guarding that certain prison cell, they let Jeanette's right-hand woman in, and that's when it's found out that, Jeanette is like, they tell her to let her in. And that's when we find out who Jeanette is torturing. So Jeanette is torturing Stefan from season 1, who lied about the fact that Daryl, Isabella, and Laurent got away, but he just ended up letting them go. And, like, here's the thing about that. He could have made his story seem more convincible. He could have made his story more believable, right? How he could have done that is he could have injured himself in one way or another. Yeah, by the way, I got Danny on my roster, but anyway, that's not important. Anywho, that's not important right now. So, Jeanette, she says, like, her right-hand woman comes in and, like, her right-hand woman is saying that, look, we got 19 recruits in counting, so that's part of the 19 that was, that Carol was a part of. So we got 19, not recruits, but 19 volunteers. So, there you go. So, Jeanette's right-hand woman goes on her way, and that's when she's telling Stefan that, you see, right there, that is a right hand that is trustworthy and that doesn't stab me in the back, pretty much. That's kind of the gist of what she's saying, but she's speaking in French, so that's when she brings up a story about her mother was a waitress, and I'm trying to remember all of it, but she's, like, bringing up that her mother was a waitress, and, like, somebody had, like, said something to her or lied to her or something. It was something about her mother had to, something happened, like an incident at work happened, and like her mother had to do this, had to do a certain something, or her mother would be fired, and I can't exactly remember how that got resolved. And you know, Jeanette, she says to Stefan that, you know, the information that I want from you, it's going to leak out of you. And what she means, you know, you can just see Stefan. He's got a black eye. His eyes are swollen shut. Just, he's all cut up just from torture. And I know what it was. Yeah, because she's got a cork. Yeah, this is what this is what exactly it was. She's got a cork, and she says that one time her mother was opening up a cork for somebody and it broke or something, and like her manager or something told her that, look, you either need to pay the money for the cork that you broke or you will be fired, because she ends up using this cork that she just happens to have, and she ends up like twisting the cork into Stefan's hand as a means of torture, because she's like, you're gonna tell me where the nun, the boy, and the American went. If you don't, I'll just keep torturing you. And that's pretty much how the episode ends. Now, I apologize if I forgot anything, but I don't think I forgot anything. See, this is exactly why I wanted to do Rating with Me, because, yeah, I ended up getting Danny to LB3, finally. Like, yeah, it took about 7-8 months to get him, but, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And I believe this is a daily challenge for the Battle Pass. That's why I'm friendly dueling. I'm almost sure. So we're gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. So yeah, I do think this episode was a little bit more, it was definitely more enjoyable than the first episode, and there was a little bit more happening, and we got a little bit more of an understanding as to what this ceremony is for Laurent. So they want to have a biker, oh my god. Let me take a sip of this drink. Holy shit. So Lo Sang and the J Girl and the Nest, they want to have a walker bite Laurent because they believe that he won't become infected. Yeah, these are some sad, delusional people. Like, will that actually happen in episode 3? I mean, they only got 6 episodes to go, so it seems like the ceremony is going to be happening. But I believe, if I was to give a prediction, I believe it might get stopped somehow. It'll get interrupted somehow. I don't know how. Maybe it involves somebody getting killed that isn't Laurent in the process. I don't know. So we'll see. Overall, I did enjoy episode 2 much more than I did episode 1. There was just more going on in episode 2. And that's all I got for you guys for today. If you have any thoughts on The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 2, please feel free to let me know what your thoughts are. If you are caught up with that spinoff. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you today. I want to thank each and every one of you for for your continued support and for stopping by. And if you want to hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment and all of that good stuff, that would be very much appreciated. And I am Buck Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.